Welcome back to their video. In today's video we have who will defeat each champion. Now we did this video back I think in November last year, but since then literally every belt has changed hands, both on main roster and NXT, which we'll be covering today. If you guys do want to see another part to this, I'm doing AEW, let us know down in the comments below. But yeah, pretty simple. Ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, we're going to start with NXT. We're going to start with the NXT Tag Team Champions, which are currently being held by Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Who do you think will be the ones to defeat them?
The NXT men's division in general, but especially the tag division in general, is kind of weak at the moment. The NXT men's division isn't the greatest. You know, they have maybe 6-7 people who's really good. So I'm picking one of the newcomers, somebody who hasn't even debuted yet as of the recording of this, and that is Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, that's also what I had put down. Yeah, they officially kind of got announced that they signed. Their debut is somewhat imminent at the time of recording. So yeah, pretty excited for them because, you know, they're a legendary tag team, one of the most decorated tag teams outside of WWE, and now that they're actually getting into WWE, could be really big for them. Yeah, it's kind of cool that a veteran-like team is going to NXT. But yeah. Next up, we have the Women's North American Champion, where Kalani Jordan's currently being held. Who do you think will take it off of her?
You know, this one is kind of, you know, they have a couple good people you could definitely choose for this one. Jada Parker, been doing great recently. You have Sol Ruka. They've been doing this push with Wendy Chu recently. But I went with someone outside of everyone once again, someone who hasn't debuted, and that's Stephanie Recur.
Yeah, really like that. Yeah, definitely could be a real chance of that. But for me, I'm going to go with JC Jane. I just think that if this kind of faction she's doing right now is doing good, I could see her getting a push and potentially going against her, and I think she has a good chance of actually winning the belt. From the women's to the men's, let's have the North American champion currently held by Obafemi, who will try to take down the ruler.
I mean, there's one person who I could see even have potential of taking out Obafemi right now. Obviously, I think he'll have a really long reign no matter what. He's already going to become one of the longest reigning North American champions, and I don't think that that'll end anytime soon. So I have the returning Tavion Heights coming back and winning versus Obafemi. Maybe not soon, but at some point.
Yeah, that's funny enough. That's also who I had. Yeah, after his excursion in Japan, you know, wrestling in Noah, doing the N1, had a very good performance online. A lot of people started getting behind him. But yeah, just really excited for him, and yeah, I definitely see him being like a real threat. Now let's talk about the women's NXT champion, currently held by Roxanne Perez, one of your favorites. Who do you think will sadly dethrone her?
I think it'll be her upcoming match coming up, and that's Julia. I do think that she will get a win over Julia at some point. Maybe, you know, they'll do a best, you know, a 3-match series. And Julia wins 2 of them, but I feel like Roxanne will maybe get one over, but maybe that's just me being a fan of Roxanne.
Yeah, I agree. Julia, already with the big debut these past few weeks, and yeah, I think it's in that first match in Chicago, I believe. It's going to be a great match, hopefully, and yeah, I think that's where we're going to see Julia become the new champion. Next up, let's talk about the men's NXT champion, currently held by Ethan Page. He has a match against Trick Williams. Do you think he can do it?
Yeah, that's who I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Trick. I did actually like the title reign with Ethan Page. He did great. I love his character that he kind of bought over from AEW. It really hasn't changed much. But, you know, it's a good character and it works. And it's definitely working for him. So, yeah, he has a good title run. But I think Trick is here to end it again.
Yeah, I think Ethan Page, like you said, has played his role very well. Kind of being a good transitional champion. Came in very hot and just has made a pretty solid mark for himself in NXT. So, yeah, I do think Trick is going to do the job and get the champion back. Now, let's go over to the main roster. We're going to start off with the women's tag team champion. It's a very hard champion to predict, but who do you have beating Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill?
I went with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. I don't know exactly how you get there, how that happens, but I just feel like Chelsea deserves something. She's been great recently. She had the big spot at Money in the Bank that I absolutely loved. And she's done other cool things too, like we just spoke about the things with Julia. She's been great. She had a great match versus Julia. She just looked good. And yeah, I just want to see her with some kind of gold, and maybe the tag belts is something, to help her out.
Yeah, I would love to see some gold on Chelsea for sure. For me, I'm going to go with Io Sky and Kairi Sane. We've kind of seen them turn more babyface recently, which is kind of new for them since, Kairi's return and Io's damage control run. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. And, yeah, I just think right now they're kind of the only real threat. I don't really see the group of Sonya Deville and Shayna and stuff. So, yeah, I think Io and Kairi are my picks. From the women's, let's go to the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, where the Bloodline is currently holding down them belts. And who do you think is going to take it off of them?
For this one, it was kind of hard, to have a few people you could pick from SmackDown, but I did end up going with the Street Profits. They've always been great. They always do great. They just had a great match in NXT recently, and the Bloodline kind of attacked them during their match and whatnot. So I assume they'll probably get a match with them going forward.
Yeah, I did have the Street Profits as well, but I did switch at the last minute, and I am going to go DIY. They cut a really good promo after SmackDown that I posted on their Twitter, which I really enjoyed, and I think they're slowly getting more crowd, there's more people behind them in the crowd, which I think is really important, because online I think they have a big fan base, but in person, not that much. And yeah, I think that hopefully they get some momentum and take the chance. Next up, let's talk about the Raw Tag Team Champions, currently held by Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Who do you think will take it off of them?
For this one, I have the Creed brothers. They've been great with Chad Gable. They've been, doing great, obviously, with the Wyatt Six feud and whatnot. Yeah, I think it's about time they start picking up some wins, and I feel like getting the goal to help them out.
Yeah, I agree. I also have the Creeds written down. Yeah, I just think, like you said, they've been really good for a while now, and I think it's time they get some going on them. They're a young tag team, so can definitely, if you really want to build them as one of those best tag teams in this era, this would be a good time to start it. Next up, United States Champion LA Knight, who's gonna dethrone the Yes Man.
So the next person that's on his hidden quitted list is Andrade. And Andrade is feuding with Carmelo, so I have Carmelo Hayes defeating him at some point.
Yeah, I have somebody a little bit different. Now, last week I had this pick and I was cool with it, but after watching SmackDown, I'm a little bit down on this, but I have Giovanni Vinci. I'm really excited for him, but after last week, it's kind of hard to see the future in him. Next up, let's go to Raw, mid-card. Braun Breaker holds the Intercontinental Champion. Who's the man to dethrone him?
I have Big Bronson Reed. Obviously, he's in the middle of this big push. It kind of got delayed for a little bit as he was sick for a while. But he's back, and has a match as of the recording of this video this Monday versus Braun Strowman. So yeah, I can't wait to see that, and I do think he'll be the one to defeat Braun Breaker.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the man who I do think should have won it earlier, but I'm going to go with Sheamus. I think to finally get his Grand Slam, very deserving of it, obviously, and yeah, I think it's going to be a good match between him and Braun Breaker. Next, the Women's Champion, currently held by Nia Jax. Who's the one to take it off of her?
Tiffany Stratton. I originally had it as, her trying to defeat Liv Morgan and cashing on her, but, I feel like it made more sense for her to keep it on SmackDown.
Yeah, I agree. Tiffany Stratton with the cash in, I think it's kind of inevitable. And yeah. Next up, we have the Women's World Champion, held by Liv Morgan. Who's the one to dethrone her?
I went with the easy choice, and that's Rhea Ripley.
Yep, I agree. Next up, World Heavyweight Champion Gunther.
So I had Bronson Reed defeating Braun Breaker, and now I have Braun Breaker defeating Gunther.
Yeah, I would like to see that. For me, I have Drew McIntyre. Must be a really good match, and yeah, can also continue the story with him and Punk if you want to. And yeah, finally, the undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes, who is the man to dethrone him.
So this one is obviously, in a way, the easiest and the hardest to pick because there's a limited amount of people, but which one will it be? And to me, it feels like it's going to be The Rock.
Yeah, I would really like to see that. Would be a really good, fun match. But for me, I'm going to go with his mentor, and that's Randy Orton. Obviously, we're going to get that match sometime, and I'd love to see Randy with another reign with the belt. But yeah, that's all our champions. Let us know if you guys want to see this video again. We kind of do plan on doing an AEW version, so let us know if you do want to see that down in the comments below. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.